Greetings everybody out there in guitar land. I thought I'd go ahead and post this instructional video about how to play End of Time because I think it's actually a really good lesson for the beginner to intermediate student. Somebody who's been playing for about a year should be able to tackle this, or even less than a year should be able to tackle this for the most part. It's something I think that could rank right up there with, dare I say, Enter Sandman or Smells Like Teen Spirit as being a tune that could be used as a teaching tool. So, without any further ado, except for my cat here wants me to further ado, we should go ahead and get to it. Alright folks, so for this you'll want a pretty low gain setting. You want to keep it kind of sparkly and you want to keep it kind of chunky. So, you know, do what you have to do, but essentially it's just kind of a... I do have a bit more reverb on this than I did on the recording, but hey, that's okay. So this whole thing starts out in kind of a clean tone, and so I'm going to keep the sound the same. I'm just going to roll the volume up just a little to keep it clean. So that's the kind of gain you want. You really don't want a lot of gain to this if you're doing any channel switching. I mean, you can totally do that if you want to. Just clean tone. And it is in E standard. So the whole beginning and much of the chorus is based off of a straight E minor chord. So you'll hit the low E, right? E, the B note here, so the second fret, excuse me, and then an open B. So while keeping this chord down, the only things that are really going to change, and I'll show you the picking pattern in a second, is you'll put this finger down on the C note, and you'll put this finger down on the D note. So okay. So all that is, it's continually going kind of in an upward pattern. So and I'm keeping that pretty well muted, but I believe it's there. So you could just stick with the B's afterwards. There. But I think I'm hearing that. There's a little bit of a thickening caused by the low E kind of being struck. So that's just me being pedantic. This will work out fine. So anyway, right afterwards, you're going to get into a more kind of gain section, and you'll find this repeated a bit. You know, turn the guitar up to 10 at that point. So these are power chords. B. You're not really hitting B, but you'll get there in a minute. B, C, D, C. So for this B one, it's really an E. So now that's what it sounds like to me. I guess just because I don't hear, I mean, it could be E minor, but I don't hear a G in there. So, which also translates really easily to a power chord by just putting that finger down. So and you're hitting all the strings, but you want these to ring through. So I'm hitting both the E string and the A string when I go up to the C note on the third fret. On the 5th fret, same shape of the chord, power chord, of course, 5th chord if you prefer. that point, when I'm hitting those chords, I'm not letting the low E ring through. That's, and then, so, double that. So B, but you're going back and forth on this finger. And it's heavily muted, so that's the mute here. Kind of choking up on it. So, one more time, but very quickly. I'll just do it one time. Slide, it's very important. Just, and that's just laying kind of your finger thrown on one string, flattening it down on the rest of it. Okay, so the intro rhythm to the verse and the verse rhythms are the same. It's just a matter of where the chords are separated at. Now, how much rhythm is in between it. So it's all fourth chords, but played at the same time. So, okay, so that's across the A and the D string. There'll be an E chord here, a G chord, an F chord, and an A chord. So 2nd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 7th fret. And I double up using these fingers, but I don't hear a low note on here. I don't hear, I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing, well, you could do, but I'm also not much hearing high notes in there. So it's pretty much just a solid, and it's really a choked up on the low E here, so not ringing out. Really choke up on the rhythm. So once you hit that, you'll be going the same rhythm, the same pattern, but you're going to stick on each individual chord for a little bit longer. Slide is important. Changing this, into the chorus. And I actually, you pick that. Just kind of pick a location that sounds about right. So I'll give you an indication of what doesn't. So, I mean, you could. It's a little high. Pretty good. So we're back to the chorus now. Well, our first one, I guess. But because the intro is very similar, the picking pattern is the same. You're going to keep the gain up. But this time you're going to fluctuate between holding the E minor and a C. So 3, 2, and then 1 here. So open E minor, open C major. And the tricky part, I'm just going to strum this. It's the same. So this is E minor 7. Because you're including the D note in there, which is the minor 7. It's just a nice way of putting it up there. So that's how you're bouncing between the chords. Works pretty well. So after that, we're back to this. So essentially, all of the components of the song are now in your hands, with the exception of the lead. So the lead takes it from a beginner to an intermediate level pretty quickly. And to execute it well, it in some places, because of the nuance of it all, kind of hedges on advanced. Put it on your neck pickup. If you don't have one, you don't have one, but I do, so I'm going to use it. And like I said, it's very rudimentary. Slide up to the 12th fret, which is the E note, on the low E string. And you're not really giving it any vibrato. That's one of the characteristics of this lead, is that there's not a whole lot of vibrato until he means it. It's almost like reserving curse words to really punctuate, meaning. So just a little. Then you're going to climb the E minor pentatonic scale. And you're going to end it with the tiniest little bend. You're basically pushing really hard, and you'll get the same effect. Or just a little pull. So G, A, B, D, slightly above E, and then back down to E. So one more time in total, slowly. Then you're going to go down to the B note here on the A string, right below where you were, with a little tiny bend again. It's like a quarter step bend. So, all in all, this is kind of slopped. So, know this part. So, that's just outlining an E chord. E minor, it's the same as here, except you're barring it. So in this case, B, E, so 14, 14, 12, 12, 12. Then from here, this is just like E minor, pentatonic, because it is. 15th fret on the B string, or D note, whatever you want to call it, bend up. And a little down, a little up, little down, little up. You want to hear what he's doing and try to replicate that. My heater just came on, sorry about the noise. So, but slopped a little. Almost like you're hitting two notes at once. Don't pay too much attention. Just be in the right places at the right time, because this is more of one of those phrases that are better left felt than they are exact. Super precise. We're not Yngwie right now. We're John Christ, okay? So we're a blues guitar player. So I'll just play the phrase out. So that, we already have this part. So that next little bit is another bend. Got it? 12th fret. Right back to it. Slide to the 17th fret, which is an E note. And we're going to bend that a minor third. All the way up to G, but we're going to take our time getting there. We want to maximize the elasticity of the note. Really kind of pull as much out of it as we can, okay? So, and just back to the E. So, you can shake it there. Get that vibrato in there. So, At that point, we're going to kind of slide down to the 12th fret with our third finger, because we're going to slide down and up. Not like that. That's the place. And we're going to make a half diminished shape here. It's full diminished. This would be, that makes it a half diminished. So we're going to stick to that. But this is the shape, basic triad. So we have a tritone here. Well, a flat 5 and a flat 7. And you're going to proceed down that. You don't have to pick that first one. You're going to go down a whole step to a C, 13th fret. Same shape. One more fret, but you're going to play that part twice. Did you get that? From there, down 2 frets, so a whole step. That'll be the 8th fret, and then back up to the 9th fret to end on a nice D note. So, all together. Excuse me. So what he plays next is in harmony. It's done with 2 tracks. We can fake the harmony by just playing the chord tones. But individually harmonize, if you're double tracking like I did, or like he did, with... That would be E, D. The next part for that portion of the harmony is a B, A. And he ends really quickly with the G note. Sometimes I hear it, but that's because of the next part, which I'm going to show you now. So with the... He also plays this part. You can play it here if you wanted to, but I believe it's up here, just by the sound of the string. That's 8, 7, or G, F sharp. Then we're taking the key to an E Dorian. So this is, because a minor would be E minor or E Aeolian. Dorian is a minor, yes, but E Aeolian would be a C note, but this is a C sharp. So D, or 15, and 14. So all together. Barely vibrato. And then right after that is the lick that takes this from beginner level to just a little above intermediate, possibly advanced. I would say that playing something like this is like advanced. In fact, this entire solo is like a study of a guitar player from a beginner to an advanced state in one multiple bar session. It's absolutely lovely how it develops. It really, really builds. And it's a textbook study in how to write a good lead. So pay attention, kids. Anyway, so that last lick starts out here. So as soon as you hit that, jump up to the next position, which is starting on the 16th fret, and this lick is completely in the E minor territory. So it'll be the first 2 shapes on the D string and the G string are, just keep in mind, those are the notes. This is the pattern to follow. Those aren't exactly what he's playing right there. I'll get to that in a second. But this is essentially half step and whole step on those 2 strings. When you get to this string, it's a whole step and a half step. This whole step, half step. How to talk about that. A half step is the distance between 1 fret. That's it. 1 fret to the next fret is a half step. A whole step is skip a fret. Minor third, skip 2 frets. Major third, skip 3 frets. And we can go on with that. Now, if you wanted to talk semitones, if you're one of those kind of people, there's, how many semitones? All right, well, a half step is 1 semitone. A whole step is 2 semitones. 3 semitones is a minor third. so forth. But for the sake of argument here, those are the notes that he plays. It's not the sequence that he plays, which is how the notes are grouped together, but it's the notes that he plays. And then we proceed up an octave, and we also include that note too. Same shape, an octave higher. Okay? So, slowly, that's effectively what he plays. So that grouping is thus. Really, it's more like that. Okay, so that B, C, down again. And the picking is important. Okay, one more time, slowly. And we're sliding that up to the 21st fret, which is the E note up here. And we're going to do a little bit differently. This is kind of a two-parter, I guess. So with that, and bending it up to the E note, and shaking it a bit, making it feel like you meant it, you know? Because you want to mean it when you play something. Why play something if you don't mean it? So, it's a thing, right? So once again, slowly all the way through. Didn't mean to fret the F there. It's an E. If you wanted to be Yngwie about it, but you don't have to. So. And really, that's it. That's the end of the tune. With the one exception of how they end after the final chorus with the... Instead of... He sticks on C, F sharp, and B. Well, I hope you learned something, and I hope that if you're a teacher that you can pass this on to your students. It's real easy to learn. It's pretty easy to play with the exception of some of the nuances. But even as an advanced guitarist, and everybody knows by now I've played for 35 years, even now it presents a few challenges here and there in getting it right. I mean, obviously I screwed up a few times, so naturally there's going to be some challenges, right? Anyway, I hope you get something out of it, and like I said before, I hope you pass it on, and thanks very much for stopping in. Bye, everybody.